Hi Phil, thank you so much for joining us at GDI New York 2024. How have you found the conference so far?
It's been great. I've attended a few now. I was here last year in New York. I was at the one in Los Angeles 4 or 5 years ago, and they're great. It's great to, especially nowadays, so many of us work remotely.
Yeah.
And it's great to interface face to face with people, especially from our industry.
Yeah.
People are always very friendly. The presentations are great. You always discover new things. I mean, there's always a new startup, especially, and they have fascinating stories. And hearing the founders talk about all their challenges, it's very interesting, always.
Great, I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
And in terms of your work, are there any sort of exciting initiatives or projects you're working on that you can tell us about?
So I've been with GROWLR for 5 years, and the first 4 years were strictly marketing and branding, and then about a year ago they brought me into the live streaming side of the business, which we launched in 2020. And I was part of the marketing launch of live streaming, but I wasn't involved in the day-to-day with the actual streamers, with the actual talent.
Right.
And for the past year, I've also have been managing our top talent, our top streamers. And they're a great bunch. So the live streaming component of GROWLR has really grown in the past 4 years. It's become a significant piece of our overall revenue, and just continuing to improve our live streaming, continuing to increase the amount of users who are using live streaming.
Yeah.
With Gay Pride coming up in June, we also are doing a bunch of really cool animations and gifts specifically around Pride. So that's always a really fun and busy time of year for us. So.
No, great. Yeah, I think congratulations on this sort of live stream feature that's come in. I think it's just been a massive success. So
yeah,
congratulations.
It has. GROWLR always had a really big sense of community, and the live stream has just added another layer on top of that. So
yeah, amazing. Yeah. And in terms of sort of looking ahead to the future, do you think there are any important trends or predictions that people should know about for the dating industry?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. In the past week or two, there's been all these mainstream press, as in like the New York Times, pretty mainstream, writing these articles about the dating industry perhaps reaching a plateau, or some of the bigger players who I will not mention, not having perhaps the best years. So I think that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I think some of the bigger players might, reinvent themselves a bit. I mean, everyone loves a challenge in the sense of, how to turn around some of this negative news.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting. There's a lot of incredibly talented, smart people at these bigger platforms, and I'm sure they're going to come up with some creative ways to perhaps buck that trend.
Yeah.
So I think for the big players, that'll be interesting. And then, every year there's more niche sites, and it's always interesting to see which ones take off. There's always a handful that do it really well and take off really well, and for whatever reason, the niche they've tapped into, perhaps it's PR, perhaps it's the product they created, but it's always interesting to watch that. So I'm sure there'll be more really cool, interesting niche apps and sites as well.
No, thank you. Yeah, I think we're definitely seeing a lot of frustration amongst users for dating apps, but at the same time, dating apps are becoming more and more popular and successful. Yeah. So it's kind of this paradox, but it's something we need to keep an eye on moving forward.
Well, I mean, the challenge, of course, one of the challenges, there's many challenges, is, Gen Z, right? That's right. A lot of the articles specifically mention Gen Z, and then, of course, all the social media platforms. A lot of people are chatting on those and meeting friends, mates, whatever, casual encounters via, the countless social media apps.
Right.
So there's a variety of challenges, but it'll be interesting. I'm very optimistic about how it'll all play out for the dating industry.
Yeah, definitely. And AI is such a popular topic now. Everyone's talking about it. Do you see it more as a wonder or a worry?
Oh my God, the $1 million question, isn't it?
Exactly.
I mean, it's when I worry about AI, it's not so much in the dating sense. I think it's more in the misinformation sense and, the political sense, and that's we don't have to get into that. That's an entirely different can of worms. For dating, I think it's mostly positive. I see, obviously, in terms of moderation, AI is an amazing tool. I think most of the people in the room probably use AI for moderation already and have been for a while.
Yeah.
So I think that will only increase. The way AI interacts with moderation will only improve, I should say. And then I think AI can really aid, in the traditional way of just people. A lot of people on dating apps aren't necessarily naturally gregarious or have a way with words. So I think AI can really help people in that sense.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Completing profiles. But yes, I'm in terms of dating and AI, I'm more optimistic. In terms of AI and the world, that's another question that I'm not going to answer right now.
That's okay. Thank you very much for your time.